Good afternoon, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thanks, Luke. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm awesome, thank you. So, Rob is from a company called Sum Vivas. I'm sure he's going to tell us what it means in Latin in a few minutes. But I think this is going to be absolutely fascinating. I was just having a chat before the call with Rob, and I felt like I was in some sort of alternative universe somewhere about what Rob was talking about. So, yeah, let's get straight into it, Rob. Um, Big part of your website talks about digital humans. Like, what's this all about?
Okay, Sum Vivas, just tagging on to that, it is Latin for I live. And there's a reason we chose that name is because we create high fidelity, very familiar human looking digital humans.
Mhm.
And we power them with AI to allow them to work with people in a real world situation across a whole variety of uses.
What sort of uses?
So theoretically, anything that you can imagine that an industry or a business does, a digital human can be part of that. Not all of it, but part of it. So, our clients range from businesses that want digital performers that are part of a concert or a festival, through to brand ambassadors, product knowledge experts within the business, customer service agents, and we're also working with organizations that are using AI-powered digital humans to act as carers and part of a support package, specifically to break down isolation and loneliness from either elderly or younger vulnerable people, which is obviously a really, really important thing.
And like, I don't. I'm trying to work out like how you come to decide that you're going to start building digital humans. So, how did it all come about, Rob?
Um, a, a little bit of a fun story. Um, my co-founder has a business that creates concerts and festivals. Post-COVID, travel restrictions were really prohibitive. I've got a background in technology and comms, and I jokingly said, "Well, if you can't get people to fly in from the States, why don't you make a performer?" And it genuinely sparked from that jokey idea of, well, how would you do that? Looked at a few bits of technology. Very quickly found out that, at the time, and this is going back 18 months or so, 2 years, there wasn't a single business that could provide what was needed. Um, Whilst it may seem simple in some respects, a digital performer is one of the most complex things because you're having to coordinate their activity with other artists on a stage. So we went about sort of building one ourselves, and it's developed from there. One of the really nice things of the business is you can use the underlying systems and processes that we've created for digital performers and put them into other elements. So it does allow you to scale and expand. The Sort of the background to the companion is what we call our carer avatar. The inspiration of that was actually my mum, who had a stroke, and she was housebound and was on her own for quite long periods of time. My dad had passed away a few years earlier, and I had the idea of, if I could create a digital double for me that mum could talk to and communicate with whenever she wanted, irrespective of the time of day, that would break down the isolation and loneliness a little bit, and make her life a little bit happier. And that's how we started to move into an AI environment to allow us to use this most natural form of communication, speech. So it's easy. You chat to the avatar chats back, and you take it from there.
So you've got different like categories of avatars, like performer, carer, product specialist, like different that you.
Yeah, and brand ambassador. So if you want an avatar to represent, there's a number of brands starting to do this now. If you want an avatar that will support a brand's journey into Web3, the avatar is clearly always on brand, has a full knowledge of that business or those products. It's never going to be late. It's available 24/7, 365. It can be multilingual. And I guess very importantly for brands, it's never going to be in the news for negative reasons after a big night out or an event or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about what podcast I was listening to, but they were showing like this like digital human. I didn't know it was called that at the time. Who had like an
Yeah,
Instagram following.
yeah,
They would sell products. They had their own like Shopify account or whatever, TikToks to sell stuff, and they were like 1 million followers, and this like something that wasn't even real was deriving some like serious revenue through various companies and had a huge
yeah.
team of like real people.
Yeah, virtual influencers are a thing. Virtual brand ambassadors are a thing. Again, with their ability to be fully flexible, and this is working as part of a team, not just as an individual element. They can help with marketing, they can help with sales, they can help with service, they can help with general positioning. Going back to influencers and followers, I mentioned our first creation as a digital DJ. I was going to call her she then. The digital DJ is called Dex, DEX. She has her own social media. She's performing in her own right across a series of venues. In the last 6 weeks, the DJ has performed in New York, London, Paris, and Barcelona as part of Digital Fashion Week. It's got an Insta address. It's at dexdj.x, and it's organically growing followers. So these are inverted commas real entities to interface and learn from, just as you would with other influencers or content creators.
Absolutely blowing my mind. So what would you say to people that are a bit worried about AI, like, oh, it's going to take over, or there's, I think, some
Excuse me.
quite serious people are saying, oh, we need to be careful of it, and I think there's a lot of fear it's going to take our jobs. What's your stance on all of that, Rob?
I think it's really easy to position AI and tech change to bring out the scary bits, because the scary bits are newsworthy, aren't they? Most people react stronger to a bad news story than a good news story.
Clickbait.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're about is working with companies to effectively enhance the people they've got in their team now, so they're capable of doing more with the same. Digital humans add another dimension, either making it a little bit more interactive. There's obviously a fun factor in those some elements, and there's also the ability to introduce the brand into a Web3 type experience without having to jump straight into the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a transition from this physical world into a digital world. So we're effectively creating these digital companions for brands. The intelligence, the way that I think about AI and position AI, the intelligence is with the humans.
Yeah.
This is a tool that will help the businesses. And when you put it into context of a companion, it helps individuals as well. Breaking down isolation, loneliness, making sure they're okay, being part of a team, not replacing a team. I think that's where the future of digital humans and this type of new technology will really come into its own.
And it's based on language models, right? So the AI is only as intelligent as the information that gets put into the
100%. If you think of any AI deployment, 80% of the work is actually the data.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about an application where someone's using a digital human as a brand ambassador, a product champion, that ambassador can only know about the company what the company puts into it. So the more you feed the data, the cleaner the data is, the higher quality, the greater amount of knowledge that the avatar has, the greater its capability. So yeah, the tools, and I know I sort of used that term before, Luke, but I think it's really important to stress to take away some of the fear or the perhaps miscommunication that there is around this. Absolutely 100% agree that frameworks and guidance and the thing that's taking place at the Bletchley Park Summit to give us global rules and conditions, those are required because, if technology continues to develop, those rules become more and more important. But it's really down to applying common sense and using technology in the right way.
Yeah. So I use AI probably every day now in terms of that company, but it's only as good as the questions that I ask and the information that I put in it. It can't
Yeah.
outperform me, and it does make mistakes.
Yeah. I think excuse me. I think one of the ways that we can all help each other, and I've had this conversation with educators. We work quite extensively with local colleges and increasingly schools. For me, AI is not something to be afraid of. It's something to engage with, and proper education on how to use AI and get the benefits of AI. I think that's going to help us all. I think, I strongly believe a future education path, it should be structured around how to use this technology for the best. You go back to, I didn't touch a keyboard until I was 20 odd because I'm of a certain age. Whereas now kids are learning, they're learning keyboards at nursery. It's the same thing. We're teaching technology from a very early age. This is just another element that can form part of that education piece.
Yeah. And it's still, like when I use AI in my business, I still need somebody to do the work. It can't do it on its own. I still need somebody to put the requests in, or still need to be some, if we've got AI for some video editing software that I use, we need to put the right video on. Is it right? And proofread it. Do I want that to go out on, there's loads of things that we use it for, but it doesn't just do it on its, on its own.
Yeah, again, sort of something I believe strongly is the intelligence part of AI is the human that's using it, working it, and creating with it. It's going to give you a set of information. You then have to interpret that and use that information how you see fit, and not just be lazy and let the machine say it could be this. Use that information and then turn that into what you want it to be.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So into more business, let's talk about stuff like, how does one go about building an AI business? Like, how is it structured, and how's it all work?
I guess effectively we're three businesses in one, because our intention is we want to make it easy for our customers so we can offer a full service delivery, if you like. So we've got a creative element. So whether that's producing a bespoke looking avatar to a customer's specific requirements, be given an open brief that says, create me a digital human that's male, 20s, and looks pretty funky, or I want a digital double of me. I want you to copy me and turn me into an avatar. So you've got a creative element and a potentially a design element to the business. We've then got the AI side of things, so that's a much more logical physics programming type side, where we're creating individual data sets, or we're using one of a number of language models to bring in the knowledge into the avatar. And then you've got a production team that brings those two things together and delivers them to the client to meet their requirements. So whether that's an avatar that will be in a foyer of a hotel that's welcoming you to the hotel and telling you where check-in is and where an event is, or any of those things, through to a companion that's asking you if you're okay and seeing if you want a chat that's deployed on a tablet of some form. So you've got that through the piece. You've then obviously got in-life management with the client as well, because quite often with types of solutions that we're deploying, people want more because they can see what it can do and go, okay, well, can I have some of this now? Can I have some of that now? So you've got an ongoing commitment and the support to the customer as well. So a whole combination of skills with an underpinning sort of methodology of each element has to work together to create a solution.
And in terms of like marketing perspective then, so what is it that what initiatives do you want, how do you generate your business as a company?
We've used the digital DJ as a positioning piece and a capability piece. We're pretty strong on social media. We've created some thought leadership and some knowledge pieces. We are working with local schools, colleges, and universities. One, to build up a conveyor belt for future skills, but two, to awareness. And we're pretty active in terms of networking and events that are taking place as well. Because what we do is quite different, it does seem to catch the imagination. And therefore, we're very lucky that people are coming to us. A real good way and increased way that we're starting to work with people is through marketing agencies and advertising. They've obviously got the association with the brands. Those brands want something different to be engaging in greater loyalty and improved throughput with their customers. Well, digital humans, the form of a brand ambassador or some form of immersive event type experience, is now becoming much more to the fore.
Yeah, it's fascinating when you said it's like attracting people's imagination, or I was thinking sometimes there's a saying, I think it was from Think and Grow Rich, was like, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. This is almost like outside the conception of, do you know what I mean? Most like I struggle to, it's so fascinating for me because I'm like struggling to conceive like how a real person like, or a digital person like DJ does work. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's very different. One of our taglines that we used to use is, it's limitless. It's limited to your imagination. What we do. I was jokingly speaking to someone that runs a fairly large events arena, and they were looking for something different for summer events. And I because sometimes I get a bit wacky because I've got a little bit of a creative streak. I said, okay, well, we were talking about DJ and what we can do. And I went, okay, well, why don't we create you a polar bear? The polar bear that's the DJ. And then halfway through, turn it into another animal, because it was a children's event. I'm not totally off the wall. It was a children's event, and I wanted something that would be slightly different. And again, the other powerful thing of using avatars in that type of setting, these things can change instantly. So as the music or the beat changes, you can go from one, if you're talking a traditional looking performer, one outfit to another, or you can have different people, different personas, different animals. You can have 3D immersive stuff. That's the bit that makes it different. You can have constantly branded elements. I guess you could even have a representation of the brand's logo or sort of some form of icon performing, because it's tech. You can do it.
I was watching, my nephew's around about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They're 3 years old, 2 twins. And we were put on YouTube and they were absolutely fascinated by this digital character. It was like a tall, weird alien thing that was dancing to a beat. And I was like, how does somebody come up with producing that? And I looked at the views of the video and it was like in the tens of millions. And I'm thinking, looking at the channels, it was in like the millions and millions. And I'm thinking, like, it probably doesn't resonate with us. You know, I'm not old, but I'm older than what they are. Like, how can that be
Yeah.
so fascinating? But then the
Yeah.
younger people, that's going to be the norm for them. Like, they're growing up on these weird digital things and then I found myself like, you know, watching it and almost like hooked into it. It was like therapeutic almost. This weird like alien doing a mad dance. It was fascinating.
Yeah. I do think we're, and this is where I think as adults and parents and guardians and all those things, we do need to be conscious of this. But I do think we're going to move more towards a slightly more immersive, or there is the potential to move towards a more immersive, more online type world where you can be able to do an awful lot more. AR and VR are starting to become more commonplace. It's still very expensive. It's still limited to tech, but I think we'll move down that. And I think, in 50 years, you and I now are chatting on a Zoom call in different parts of the country. I think a lot sooner than 50 years, you and I will be sat in your studio in a virtual experience, having this chat as if we were literally across the table from one another, and that will be commonplace, and it will feel very natural. My only temperance on this is, you've got to live in the real world as well, and that's why we've gone for this delivery of avatars for a real world rather than a fully immersive web metaverse experience.
So it's like one side of it is in the real, like a DJ at a festival, that it's immersive on one side of it, but it's you're with other people on the other side of it rather than having both.
Correct.
Yeah. That's fascinating. And yeah, the person like your mum, she's in the real world, but this person's in the virtual world. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of, so you go back 18 months or so, there was this explosion of the metaverse is here. It's going to be, we're all going to be living in virtual worlds. I think that proved to be a little bit too hypey and a little bit too premature. But for sure, I think it will come. Brands are setting up shopping experiences and events in 3D worlds because people are morphing from gaming into social settings in a 3D world. So it will move that way, but I think there's a transition from that blends the physical world that we live in into a digital world, and our avatars perform that gateway between the two.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's going to be like quite polarizing. People will either want to be in the countryside and out, at the beach, or whatever, or they're going to want to be in a virtual.
Hopefully it will allow both things to be seen in the value that they have. That you don't shy away from technology, that you embrace it and get the benefits from it, but equally you don't fully live in it, and you without being too sort of cheesy about it, you do go out and you smell the grass and enjoy the sunshine and those things as well. That combination is obviously got to be the ideal for all of us.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So just a couple more questions about the business before we begin to wrap up. From a business standpoint, how do you manage the pressure of running a business and personal life as well?
The old work-life balance challenge. It is a challenge. I think it's anyone that runs a business recognizes that, not just running a business, being part of a business. I think what you've got to do is remember that why you're doing these things. I've got some very personal, passionate elements to why we're doing the business the way we're doing it. We've set out some really clear and strong goals in terms of giving something back, whether that's the way that we recruit people, train people, or the solutions that we've produced that hopefully help society in a little way. But it's also so I can enjoy life, and I can enjoy time with the people that I love and care about me. So if it's all about work, you you forget about why you're doing it. So it's maintaining that I'm doing this, but I want to share it with my friends, my family. I want to have some me time. I also think it's really important that that me time helps to recharge and set the clock for my work time as well. I think all of us have experienced where you're working, and the longer you work, the harder the work. You can sometimes achieve less and less and less. You have a break, you do something different, you come back, and the things that's taking you all day, you smash through in a couple of hours. I think you've got to remember that as well, that to look after a business, to look after the people working with that business, you have to look after yourself, and that mental well-being of having the stimulation, the love, the camaraderie of your friends and family is a really vital, important, in my opinion, of being a good business person.
And finding your pace as well. I think that's what you're talking about there, like finding if you're going too fast, slowing down. If you need to go faster, speed up. You need to have a rest, get good sleep, all that.
Yeah, I think again, I've had this conversation with my mates quite a few times. A lot of people think you're the boss of a business and you've got the easy job because you're telling everybody what to do. It can be really tough. It can be really tough, and as silly as it sounds, it can be incredibly lonely, because you're the guy that's got to come up with the ideas. You're the guy that's going to make it happen, and you're the guy that ultimately is the responsibility for other people's livelihoods, and that's quite a strain and the stress. So again, what I've learned over time: talk to your friends, talk to your family. Don't take the world on your shoulders. Find a good mentor or mentors that are either connected in a similar sort of industry vein or totally different, but people that you trust and have got some experience that can add value. Even it's as simple as saying, "Come on, Rob, slow down a bit. Yeah, I know you want to get to the finishing post. I know you're really passionate about this, but enjoy the journey. This is about a journey, not just a destination." Those types of things are really, really invaluable, I find.
Yeah. You've got to enjoy the journey, definitely,
Yeah.
because don't always get to the finish line sometimes in business, do you?
No, and when you get there, someone's moved the finishing line anyway.
Yeah. Or you get there and it wasn't as good as what you like,
Yeah,
gold medal syndrome, and yeah.
Again, I guess it ties into that old adage: if you enjoy what you're doing, you're never going to work a day in your life, and there's a degree of truth in that. But you do have to take time to enjoy it as well, not just the next thing, the next thing, the next thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So where do we see the business in 5 years' time?
Continued growth, continued recruitment, continued talent development. Those may sound like sort of stock answers of what you'd expect someone to say, but is absolutely one of the fundamental reasons that we've set up a business, that we do want to encourage people to work with us, to give them a foot on the ladder and move on. And part of our policy, I mentioned before, we've got creatives, we've got more technically minded people, we've got delivery people. We expose them to each element of the business, and particularly for the creators and the techies, we expose them to the business parts of Sum Vivas as well, because guys are going to go on and do their own business, and I feel my job as a business leader, I should be encouraging that. I'm enabling that. So we put them through. So more people developing, more people helping us grow and do better, but equally more people going on doing other bigger and better things in their own right. Absolutely want to have developed, deployed, and hopefully deployed on a large scale our companion products that will either make people's lives better by reducing loneliness, will stimulate them and give them mental awareness that perhaps makes their health better and prevents them going into hospital at an early stage, And equally, if they do come out of hospital, it allows them to come out quicker, knowing that there's a broader support team in place that utilizes technology and digital humans to enable that to happen. So a strong commercially focused business that's producing solutions that help people's lives as well. A bit grandiose, but it's generally what we're looking to achieve.
Yeah, it sounds like something that could defo make some big impact. It's absolutely fascinating. Well, Rob, thanks so much for spending some time having a chat with me about what it is you do. Been absolutely fascinating.
Thank you.
Yeah, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get in touch if you've got any potential reasons to speak to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Website is sumvivas.com.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a LinkedIn business page. I'm on LinkedIn. My name is Rob Sims. That's SIMS. Contact me any of those ways. More than happy to chat through with anyone. Obviously, people looking for employment as well. Great to chat through with you. And if people want to find out a little bit more about how digital humans can support them in a variety of ways, let's have a chat. People have got great ideas, and maybe we can collaborate on some things and make it happen for them as well.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Rob.